Okay, it is alive. Just required another restart. Well, it is what it is, right? Anyway, was it worth it? It actually was not. Look at this. There is no nerd here. No other users but this one. So I actually... Oh, excuse me. Interesting hiccup. I actually have no idea how to do it now. Like, what's missing? Should I run it from some other user? Add trigger? No. Dev, you input no such... What? No such device. What? It's literally here. Ah, yeah, no such device. It's yeah, it's fine. With permission denied. Yeah, I just have no idea what the fuck is this shite. One of the rare instances of ArchWiki just straight up didn't help me. So what are our options here? Do we ask a hallucination machine? Maybe it will help me. This is so weird. Linux get user gid uid. Yeah, how's that? ID-u ID-u. So this is the one, and this is the one. Maybe udef. There's udef rule just that adds one of these. Let me rg user lib udev equals d. So nothing like that. No, this is ID. This is ID product. So this is not the same thing, right? There was a link to udef documentation. Dynamic user ACL. Oh, it was just a link to GitHub. Active user on seed. Yeah, this doesn't really tell me anything. Do I need to log in with this user like in a separate session? You know, like just open a separate terminal and log in? Is this how it works? If I open another terminal with like Ctrl Alt F2, will I nuke my stream? At this point, I'm like too afraid to ask or too afraid to do this. So what's this? Udemy admin attribute walk. Yeah, let me run this shit. And this is like not even a real device. Hero of Linux desktop after all, yeah. So nothing really here. Okay, let me do this. And if, well, stream gets nuked, I'll just relaunch it, I guess. So yeah, 3, 2, 1. Oh. Were we cooked? Or no? Are we back? Were we cooked? Back, we good? Okay. So music stopped on my end. So what I've learned is that yes, that was the issue. So when I run getFackle under a separate session, it actually shown user nerd. So that was actually the issue. The issue is that you need to log in from a completely separate like TTY for it to work. So it seems like you can't just SU with the user and get access to your input. Seems like that's the case. So this actually works. Yes, it works from there. That's literally the reason. So this rule works. You just need to log in correctly. So seems like I need to do something like display equals 0 sudo. I can't do that. Yeah, I can't, and I can't run it from sudo because it's like on Wayland compositors, X-Wayland is configured in a way so you can't run GUI applications from sudo. It's just how Wayland compositors configure X for more security reasons, right? There was a way to override it, but not gonna bother now. The point being is that this udev rule actually works. It actually works. It is working correctly as intended. The only thing I want to try is maybe there is a way to override it. So udev uaccess doesn't work when logging as user with SU. Will it help? Dev rule sound hopping ACLs not applied by user login. Is video frozen? Is it? I see. Oh shit, it is. I guess it got cooked. Yeah, let me restart it real quick then. Well, I apologize for that. It's gonna take like a second. We should be back now. Yeah, I'm sorry for this, but it is what it is, you know. Sometimes we need to sacrifice something for Year of Linux Desktop. Yeah, nobody said that Year of Linux Desktop will be easy. Somebody has to suffer for the people. And I guess my loyal fans get like multiple notifications a day. Fuck me. So what do we have here? Yeah, so this is something irrelevant. Dbus. No, fuck Dbus. I'm exiting out of here. Yes, I tried new terminal. So I went to a new terminal with Control Alt F2. I logged in under nerd there, and udef rules was working. So that was the issue. So seems like when you log in under user with su, udef rules don't apply, seems like. So you need to actually log in from TTY for it to work, which is unlucky. Right, and I get this because this is the user that logged in TTY. So I guess you just have to trust my word that this works as intended. Oh yeah, TTY is like teletype, blah blah blah. It's basically what you get logged in when you just run Linux. It's like the main terminal from which you load graphical session. They usually call TTY because it's teletype some shit. Yeah, long boolean. That actually happens to me as well. There are few streamers that I have explicitly fucking notification bell turned on, and email always comes after the stream. Same shit. Actually, for one of them I get correct notifications, but for everybody else, it's what you described. So you're not the only one. And I think in this case, the hallucination machine, I guess it's like Gemini something, confirms our suspicion that uAccess relies on login session, and SU does not create new login session. Yeah. I can add a group permission just to test it out. I think I can maybe do this, but I don't want to. Oh shit, can I do this? Huh. Can I do like, if I do truth, will it create a new login D session? Arch login D. Nah, probably not. What did it also suggest? Some like systemd run crap? Can I do this? I thought it was the same, and that terminal we see in GUI is just a wrapper for that same thing. Yeah, no, it's different. It is completely different. That's why it's called terminal emulator. Well, technically it's called terminal emulator because it emulates old terminals, right? But there's another part as well. But yeah, that terminal is different. It actually has a different graphics API, right? The way you draw graphics in that environment is also different. So everything about this is different. And it's actually managed by the kernel. Run programs in transient scope. Unit service path sockets timer triggered events. Interesting. Description slice. Send UID. Run the service process under the specified Unix user or group. Ah. So yeah, we can do systemd run UID and pass the user. Interesting. Does it work for any process or only for services? Ah, so you need to have a unit. So you need to create a systemd unit first for it. Now, I'm not gonna bother. So it tried to... Yeah, you see? So it tried to kind of create like inline unit, and the service was like a bin bash. I'm not gonna do it. I'm afraid that it's gonna break something else. So I see what AI is trying to tell me. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just kind of, this works. Like, we're good. I just verified that it works. What else? There was another error message that we got, and open restricted here. So I have a to-do here. I want to handle it. And what it does is I am trying to open an input device, and sometimes it fails. And usually it fails when you don't have input like group permissions. Right? So in this case, I need to like log error, something like... I actually have something like it here where it checks that device FD is less than 0 and could not open device for checking out whether it's a keyboard. But this is not very descriptive, right? So we will handle an error here and just log error could not open this device. Path. It's just actually path. Make sure you are a member of input group or run Hitboxer as with sudo, which actually might not work under Wayland version. So this is a log error. that will display in either a log file or in an std error. So let me just do this. Kind of a hack. So sudo user mode -a -g user mode -a so it's group and then user. Input your username or run Hitboxer with sudo. Yeah, let me unsplit it a little bit, so make sure you're a member of input group. Like this. I fucking love this macro, man. This like multi-split, multi-string macro. What it does is it takes us you can pass it an array of strings, and it at compile time will provide the string literal as if you just typed it in one line. I really like using it. I use it instead of here strings because here strings, they kind of enforce line breaks, and they're also ugly when you type them in line. So this is just like an easy compile time macro that lets me sort of concatenate strings like you would do in interpreted languages. But it doesn't have any runtime overhead whatsoever. So it's just like, mwah. And it's also like 10 lines of code, which just kind of showcases Jai's power of Jai macro, right? So, so this is how it looks like, right? It accepts an array of compile time strings. This is actually crucial to make it possible in compile time. And it inserts a code as a string, which you see just kind of return. It opens a quote, and then at the end it will close the quote, and then it just like inserts whatever, right, whatever string you type, with a kind of caveat that it like not masks, it escapes quotes, it escapes /n/t, and I think it escapes backslashes too, right? No, it does not. It just escapes double quote and escapes this thing. So maybe it is not entirely, you know, foolproof, because I think you can also do like /v, and there was also, I think, /r. I think there was also these two. So I guess I can change this. And also, yeah, it replaces percent with double %, so you can even format it. How about that? Oh, unknown skip. Ah, Jai doesn't support /v. It's like a vertical fucking tab or some shit. Yeah, Jai doesn't support it. I'll just comment it out. Yeah. Right, so Jai does not support vertical tab or whatever this is. Yeah, there you go. Make sure you're a member of an input group, sudo user mode, input your username, or run Hitboxer with sudo. Do we have any alternatives to this? I don't think we do, because so why am I worrying about this? Because as I said, on Wayland compositors, you just can't run GUI applications as root by default. Let me demonstrate it to you, actually. Oh, sorry for the flashbang. So if I open a terminal and I try to do sudo hitboxer, look at this, authorization required but no authorization protocol specified. Yeah, and there is a way you can enable it with xhost, I forgot which it was. Maybe there's bad host name. Is it root? Is it like man x host? Do we have manual? Yeah, maybe you do. So there was something you can do to give a permission to other users to connect, and also root as well, but family name, a local. Yeah, so it should be like local root. Local user. Yeah, local user. So it's xhost local host. I just fucking read it. Yeah, local user, so it's xhost local, right? Local user root. Non-network local connections being added. And then I think I can do the sudo. Yeah, now I can do it, you see? Yeah. So this is basically me allowing xWayland to be run under root. So and now this program just like straight up has access. So Wayland wants people to use Xlibre. Xlibre is that, like, you know, quote unquote non-woke fork of Xorg. And now I can't use it anymore, you see. So actually let me document that as well. On Wayland compositors, you might not be able to run GUI X11 GUI apps, which fucking hell, using arrows like a pleb, is under sudo. So you might have to run yank from killring this first. To enable that, and the same command but with minus to disable. So I think this is what I'm gonna like. This thing is probably worth creating a separate kind of GUI warning sign for. Hey Maria, hello, welcome to the stream. Yeah, we finally handling the group error situation. And I've also added UDEV rule that a user can add to their UDEV rules. So we're just kind of making stuff more user-friendly, so to speak. And return -1. So not even proceed further. Yeah. Welcome. Hope you've been doing all right. You might see that I'm streaming only for 20 minutes, which is a lie. I actually had to restart my stream like twice because first I nuked my login D session because I was testing UDEV rules, And second time, I was quickly switching to another terminal to check udev rules in a like proper login session, which did not kill the stream, but it nuked OBS's frame buffer, so I had to restart it anyway. So it seems like OBS is not able to survive, you know, switching to a separate TTY. He was in hospital. I mean, don't be like sorry about it, you know, your health is kind of more important than some fucking degenerate from Eastern Europe. What was important yesterday? Good question, I actually already forgot. Did I add XDG yesterday or was it the other day? Honestly, like, I don't know, let's check it out. What I did yesterday. You were for XDG, so XDG was the other day. Oh yeah, I split yesterday. I like split libinput into separate like handlers for a simple kind of just pass through, for device removal, and separate for actual like override and key mapping logic. And I unified the API with Windows a little bit because it's just more human on Windows. Yeah. Also, what I did is, I moved this. It's just like some refactoring that makes my code a little bit more robust. And here I moved stuff to separate threads. Yeah, so this one. So I just moved this crap where I dynamically load libinput on udev and then create virtual device. I moved it into a separate thread. The reason being, if it fails, I can show errors in the same amount of threads. It's just I move the input handling stuff into the thread that handles input. It's just at the start of the thread. So I didn't create more threads. Logging is not thread safe yet. I haven't touched that yet. This is kind of next on the list. Yeah. So I think this is good now. And there was another issue. So I actually packaged my executable yesterday for someone, and he ran it without unpacking font folder. And maybe I want to handle that error too. First, let's look at, we still compile. Yeah, we still compile. And let's see if we run. And we run. Yeah, nice. So what I want to do is first I want to commit this. Wait a second. No, we're good. We're good. Embed the asset into the executable. I actually don't know if I can do it with Hack, because like Hack has a separate license. I do not embed fonts into a library, no. I don't know actually if I can do it. Can I just embed the font into a binary and just like ship the license together with an executable? Just kind of assuming that, hey, this program like uses Hack font. Here's the license for it. Because I don't know if I can just embed it. Well, we'll check it out after I do this. Provide udev rule for you input. Better error logging. Super secret mode activated. Because I just rebooted, yeah, after nuking my fucking session. Yeah. Meet license, you can just have a license file. Oh, that's actually nice, if I can just have a license file. You know, I know that these licenses and this bureaucracy is just a social contract that you can kind of freely violate unless you deal with multi-billion dollar corporation. And I know that my view on free and open source software licensing is very, very like morbid and how do you say it? Cynical. But I still try to respect it out of just, out of like human sympathy, right? I have sympathy for humans who give other humans free shit, and I just want to appreciate it. So even though I don't really like believe in open source licenses, I still try to respect them to the best of my ability. I hate that FOSS exists. I love that FOSS exists, but I fucking hate that FOSS exists in our world. I don't really hate it. I just like, um, yeah, I'm just, it's very hard to not get cynical when you see, licensing laundry done by multi-billion dollar corporations. It's just very hard not to get like, why do you do this shit if it clearly just doesn't work, right? It's just the unnecessary bureaucracy. That's why I'm kind of cynical about it. And even though I try to sort of honor, I don't personally think that it makes any difference or makes any sense. I know there were like cases of GPL winning in courts. I know that. But in order for it to work, you need a lot of legal leverage, right? You can't just be like a font author and like go or like a library author and go like sue Microsoft because their LLM like reproduced your GPL v3 code like verbatim and effectively like laundered the license. You literally cannot do that. And there will be no class action suit about it just because of arm race, right, between US and China. So this whole copyright disaster is allowed to happen in America simply because they just can't afford doing it the right way, or they just lose the race. Because obviously China doesn't care, right? So we just got into this situation where ethics just kind of gets fucked because there's like a lot more at stake. People get weird about things that are free. People develop the expectations that you're morally obligated. You know what funny thing you ask for? I actually got into this on Twitter today. Like I found a cool thing from a guy. I retweeted it and said that oh wow, he did like this shit and it's very inspiring. And then some weirdo like attacked me on Twitter that oh yes, but he didn't share what he did, right? He didn't like open pull request. He just did it for himself, so no, he actually didn't do anything cool. And I'm like, bro, what are you mad about? And then the guy just called me like a wanker and like corpo shill and blocked me. So yeah, people get really weird about it. That's absolutely for sure. Yeah, that's true. The spirit of open source is that I get to harass maintainers and be entitled, and then like when maintainers, because it is a human reaction, right? When this happens to you, you get defensive, and your natural sort of reaction to this, your first response, is just fuck it, I'm just gonna quit, uh, which is normal. Or your other natural reaction is to go and rant about it in your blog, in Mastodon, or on Twitter, and then people like, oh, what's he mad about? Like, he shouldn't have made it open source in the first place. You know, so it's just kind of never-ending wheel of abuse and harassment and just depression. Very few people do open source right in this kind of sense. Right? And also there is of course another kind of story to this, which is sort of separate. When, you know, maintainers of open source shit, right? You start the project as a hobby, you make it open source, and then, you know, you realize that, oh my god, people use it for free, and you realize that you did not actually wanted that, but you can't like pull the lever back already. Yeah, because oh my god, like I made this shit for free, I haven't thought of this, and now that people use it and I don't get any money for it because I have to like write WebSlope for a job, I get sad. So like I crash out, I change license, or I go write like a huge fucking post on Twitter that, oh my god, unpaid labor, I'm so like sad that people don't donate me. Which is, bro, if you wanted a business, you should have thought about making it a business, right? It's like your issue, your problem. So there are two completely separate issues that are kind of orthogonal, but a little bit connected. And when one issue happens, another one instantly gets brought up for completely wrong reason, and people just don't understand that these are two separate issues. But both are natural. Like both of those behaviors are very like human, you know, they're very understandable. Even though they're stupid, it's not like, you know, it's not something you should be surprised about. It's just like human doing human things. Anyway, this was not a second crash out per stream. This was just a normal pseudo-philosophical monologue, so it doesn't count as a second crash out. Make it a whale and up, yeah. I'm actually planning to make it a whale and up. So this is just for now. Do it in Rust. Well, there actually exists as OCD application written. Well, it's like half web, half Rust. Let me show you. So there's an app that's called Overbind, which is actually pretty cool, and it's also made by folks from Hollow Knight speedrunning community. Here it is. It is, I don't remember, it's either Electron, it's Tauri, yeah. So the UI is written in Tauri. Yeah. Fixing Wayland icons, nice. Hey Anduki, crash outs are acceptable. Yes, sometimes they are. Sometimes they're not only acceptable, but inevitable. And also this Overbind, it actually has support for Windows gamepad emulation through, unfortunately, abandonware driver. Which is, you know, kinda makes it like risky investment, if you would say. Because that abandonment driver only works because Microsoft are very responsible about backwards compatibility. And only works because nobody probably bothered trying to find any like vulnerabilities there. Or maybe, you know, there is some zero day that's getting exploited and nobody knows about it. We will maybe never know. Right, so what now? We have this, we have udev. Do we try to do logging? Or maybe we handle fonts. Right, so if I now go to data directory and I just actually if I do like mv data back and now I run it, look what happens. Just assertion failed. Hollow Knight tooling is it's not Hollow Knight. Well, Overbind is actually super Hollow Knight specific. It like implements not only SOCD logic, it also, I don't know if it does it now or will, it also does some like dialogue mashing by hooking into some Unity memory for accessibility reasons, right? So it is more Hollow Knight specific, and my tool is just like more generic. The Valigo stream constitution requires at least one crash out per stream, yes. This is correct. Anyway, here we have a runtime assertion from init fonts, right? Yeah, so maybe how big hack fonts are. They are 300 kilobytes each. So it's like a megabyte to embed both of them. I mean, I can do it. I certainly can do it. So get font at size. Yeah, you either provide a path and name or just straight up memory. So there are two overloads. So if I do, for example, like hack is like run read entire file, right? And this is gonna be something like data hack regular ttf, and then hack bold is hack bold. I can do this. Yeah, this is literally what you do for embedding. You just run read entire file at compile time. This is your embedding in Jai. You know, technically read entire file can return an error, like it returns content and an error. So you can do like run string and then open a block and do like content success, right? If success return content, else it's like compiler report. So you can literally fail compilation here, right? Fuck you, bitch. Where your font are. I can do something like this. And for compiler report, you obviously need to import compiler. Not all control power. Yeah, it's like. Right, it's kind of. It tells you this, right? Yeah. So you can do this, and if you fuck up the font, you see it like literally you create compiler error, right? To bitch where your font are. So you have multiple options here. So embedding in Jai is pretty easy. Actually, let me probably if I'm gonna do this, this is how I should do it. Yeah, so wouldn't find a regular TTF. And it's exactly the same code, but it's like bold. Right, and then when you do this, let me just copy paste these, and this is gonna be from memory, right? And memory, it's gonna be at regular. Actually, I think strings get auto-casted in Jai, if I recall correctly. So hack regular, and this is gonna be hack bold. No? Did not match any possible overloads. Oh, it's so do I guess I need to I guess I need to cast it manually like this. So maybe that will work. Yeah, that'll do. So does it like run? Ah, there you go, it runs. You see, and now we are embedding fonts into an executable directly. There you go, embedding in Jai is it's just like it's just a regular code that you write. You just run it at compile time, and there it is. This is what a robust metaprogramming gives you. You just don't have a separate feature for embedding. You just write the normal code for it. It's very beautiful. So this is like a debug one. Now it's 8 megabytes. Let's try it the old way. And don't... So it's... yeah, it is slightly more than a megabyte, right? Yeah, I was about to try it out. So let's try normal release. So this is a normal release build. How much does it's like 10 seconds in LLVM mode. 5.8, so 6 seconds. Actually, I don't think that this is correct. How do you do? Is it like time? Yeah, so time, Jai, build a Jai. I don't think this is correct, actually. Oh no, it's actually pretty, yeah, it's reasonably. I just, you know, I just thought. Anyway, so Boxer release build is a bit smaller. It's 3 megabytes versus debug one being 7. Yeah. How do you strip? Do you just call strip? And that's it? Yeah, you can also strip it. And there you go. This is without any... yeah. So it's stripped at S. What is a strip, by the way? Is it just like debug symbols? Because this is a release build with debug symbols. This one. This is a release build with debug symbols enabled. S. Yeah, remove debugging symbols. Yeah. What does it do by default? Symbols and sections. I see. So I don't actually want to strip it, to be honest. But regardless, so unstripped it's 3.8 in release build. And with fonts, it's gonna be... Oh wait, I needed to release it. Yeah, like this. So it's gonna be like about 5. Yeah, 4.5. 4.5 megabytes with fonts embedded. You know what? Maybe this is the way to go. Maybe I literally just do this. Yes, Jai also has add global data, which is like more or less same shit. But I mean, why when I can do this instead and provide like reasonable error message at compile time if you know something goes wrong. Yeah, aligns more with 600k release, exactly. You know what, let's actually rock it. I like the idea. Hell yeah, the soundtrack fucking rocks. Let's rock this idea for a little bit. I need to check if it works on Windows correctly. Embed hack fonts into right into the executable. Yeah. What's next? So logging situation. So it is midnight. I have about maybe an hour, maybe hour and a half left in me. Well. Oh, chat died. Let me refresh the chat. It says I'm still disconnected. Alright, welcome to the chat room. Well, hopefully I didn't miss anything. It doesn't look like it, and past moderation log doesn't say anything. Alright, we're probably fine. Right, so let me actually take a small bathroom break. Let me make a small bathroom break and then I will continue looking into shit. Press BRB. I'll be right back. Well, I am back and sorry for long delay. I had to help with the kids. What I was going to do, I like forgot. All right, yeah, maybe look into logging situation finally. Wait, what? You enabled debug asserts in your system and had to add an exception to Discord to be non-fatal, because I think their crisp audio suppression thing seems to also make the same mistake I did, and so would hard crash. Oh, maybe actually it makes sense, because every time I join voice chat in Discord, my Discord just fucking crashes. Maybe that's why. But it doesn't happen when I join voice chats from the browser version of Discord, only when I do it from desktop one. So yeah, maybe that's why. So logging. There are multiple ways to approach it, right? The way I thought I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna create like another thread that would just print logs to file or std out, or maybe both. And then all my threads will just push into some kind of a queue that the actual login thread will deplete. And this should technically speed up my key handling hooks, because now they don't have to like write to file, you know what I mean? It's very, your program gets much faster when it doesn't have to write to files. That's the point. But another caveat here is that if I want to have logging to be like properly thread safe, so it is properly thread safe when you write to std out, because std out is locked by the kernel. So writing to std out from multiple threads is always thread safe. But when I write to file, this is not the case, and technically I can have situation where, for example, my log gets rotated twice from both threads and I lose a lot of shit. And second issue is maybe there probably won't be a situation where I write like broken data to a file. But maybe if, you know, both threads, I actually don't know if open is thread safe. Not open, if writing to a file descriptor that's not std out is thread safe or not. I can imagine just, if it's not like locked internally, you will just write two lines over each other and you miss like a line of log. So I actually don't know. Right. It's actually F write, I think. Binary stream to input output. Thread safety. It says empty safe, whatever it means. This is the output. Where is it? Bro. Here you go. It's hard to tell, because I don't remember it, how it looked like, how the exception looked like. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I can close that. So it says that thread safety is empty safe, multi-thread safe. So maybe I don't need to do anything. So maybe the only thing I need to protect is rotation of logs and everything else is fine. Let's ask Google this. Is writing to a file descriptor of a file on disk, memory, thread, safe on Linux? In all mainstream Unix-like OSs. Excuse me. So kernel does log not only std out, stdr, but everything. Or symbolic links. Let's read an actual human provided information. It actually doesn't say anything. Oh, and they are also, if this is correct, if this is not hallucination, it means that we are also correctly updating file offset. The only thing that we can potentially mess up is the ordering, but I don't think that in our case ordering actually matters. So maybe I just don't need to do anything apart from locking the rotation. Because if the kernel, and I assume if if this is the case on Unix, on POSIX based operating system, then I think I can assume that this is also the case on Windows. Is writing to file on multiple threads safe on Windows? Oh shit, what the fuck? Solaris. What the fuck? Where is Win32? On Windows, Win32. File using multiple threads. This is some Rust. Sharing common resources between threads, okay. Each thread has its own stack and its own copy of CPU registers, I know that. Other resources and heap memory are shared by all threads, blah blah blah. Using these common resources must be synchronized. Several ways to synchronize resources, including semaphores, critical sections, events, and mutexes. So does it mean that Windows does not have internal thread safety for writing into files? Okay, multiple threads accessing the same file. Because another thread might have moved the file pointer. Each thread must reset file pointer. Alright. But no, this is not the same. I'm not gonna move the file fucking pointer. Or Each thread must make sure that it's preempted between time and position. So it basically says that on Windows it's not thread safe. Right, so look at this. On Windows, you need to specifically create mutex. You need to wait for single object, then you can do fseek f-write, and then you can release mutex. Yeah. Let's check if Jai actually does it. File write. It does not. It does not. Maybe let's check documentation of on file write specifically. I know this is supposed to be a Linux stream. Don't get disappointed. You can't get a year of Linux desktop without some Microsoft getting involved, right? So just bear with me. Yeah, I consent, Linux consent, but Win32 API does not consent. So we must respect it. So this doesn't say, oh, synchronization, whoa. H file opened with file flag overlapped. It is a synchronous file handle, otherwise synchronous. If a file device is opened, using the handle generally return immediately, but can also behave synchronously with respect to block and execution. File write might return before write operation is complete. This is different. This is not about multi-threaded access. This is just about a synchronous file handle. Well, if it doesn't mention it, but that other doc section on MSDN mentions it, then I just assume we have to synchronize it on Windows. Yeah, so, yeah, well. Oh, well, what can you do, just... This is some U-access. Yes, this, I don't need this anymore. Right, yeah, so we need to synchronize logger. Oh, excuse me for yawning. I'm getting kind of tired. So what's the plan then? What will be the plan? So I have two possible solutions. One of them is, proper, as I mentioned on multiple previous streams, kind of multiple producer, single consumer type of deal. I don't really like this idea because you can implement that lockless with atomic reads and writes, like atomic store, atomic load, but it's still synchronization, right? You still might have to spin. And I don't want an input handling thread fucking spin if I want to just log something. So what I thought about, what else I thought about is that maybe I should just paint. Do I have I have only Krita. Let me open Krita and do the create new document, create, so I don't flashbang you. Maybe I can make it like full black. Okay. Is there like a... Yeah, there you go. Hey, Ander, yeah. So, there are two approaches to logging. Let me actually change the bot. Hello, hello, hope you're doing well. The... Making logging thread save. Yes. Does it work? Yeah. So there are two approaches, right? So I have multiple threads, and now I'm a proper fucking like influencer with the paint and stuff. Right, so we have like, oh my god, this is so scuffed. So we have like T1, T2, like T3, and Tn, which is like threads. And this is some kind of a like queue, which is called like multiple producers single consumer, MPSC. This is like colloquial names for them. And all of these threads, when you call log, they just push into this. And this data structure, it is synchronized with using atomics. So it's like log free, but it uses atomic operations provided by CPU, which means that each thread, in order to push into the free kind of slot, it has to spin or pause, usually spin. Usually the thread would be spinning. Oh yeah, absolutely, like any kind of paint just helps a lot. Krita, Milton, whatever, like just regular paint, it helps a lot for sure. So this thing is usually implemented as a like ring buffer. Not necessarily, but often it's implemented as a ring buffer. And ring buffer is just array that when it overflows, it starts writing from the beginning. Like you write, so if it's like an array with cells, you write like into every cell, and when you write to last cell and you want to write another one, instead of overflowing, you just like mod your index and you write into the first one again. And these kind of data structures usually have like a head and like a tail. Head is for producers, so producer have like moving head, and tail is for consumers. So this here we have like an actual like logger, or it's gonna be logger. This thing consumes from the queue. Here's like single consumer, and it moves like the tail index. So head and tail, they move kind of independently of each other. And we always know how much do we need to consume because we can calculate the difference between the current tail and the current head. The logger, yeah. Right. And this thing, I think it also should block, but it only blocks a cell that it reads from. So for cases that any other producer, it can't write into a cell that we reading. And so my concern is, first, let's say an input handling thread wants to log something, and the queue is occupied by some other producer. It means we have to spin, right? And input handling thread is extremely hot path. I don't want it to stall for any other reason but input handling, but I still want to log some information from there. Which kind of makes me think that maybe this is not what I want to use. Like this looks very fancy and like computer sciencey. And yes, this is actually foreshadowing that you kind of spoiled a little bit because you're smart. That I might want to have a ring buffer like per thread. So instead of doing multiple producer, single consumer, what I can do instead, oh wow, what the fuck is this? How do you erase? It's because I choose foreground to transparent. It makes shit transparent. How do I? Huh? The fuck? How do I set eraser mode? Preserve alpha? No. Bro? Normal? Bro. What the fuck? How do you... This? Okay. What's that? How... Ah! How do I... How do I close this shit? Oh, okay. Ah, it's right click. So if I set... No, it still fucking erases. Man. How do I use this? Oh? Alright, I was just not gonna use eraser then. I was just gonna use that. Technical difficulties. Yeah. So... And then instead of using multiple producer, single consumer... Oh my god. What the fuck is this shit? How do I... is it this one? Oh yeah. I can use like an array, like a ring buffer. You're supposed to have your background as another layer. Oh, hey Ether Powered. So are you saying that eraser is just the thing that kind of exposes the background? Yeah, because I thought, because there are like two brushes, there's like left one and background color, and I thought that eraser is just the background one. Well, I guess not. Alpha component that's black isn't empty. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't even know how to use Krita. I'm very like, you know. I see. Well, I guess I have to look into it. But thanks for pointing me into direction. I guess I'll look at it offline or something. But yeah, what I thought as an alternative is every thread will have its own ring buffer for logging. And in this case, the only overhead for logging we will have is the modding operation on getting the sort of correct on wrapping around the array, right? This is the only like overhead we'll have, and here's as well like RB. And then actual Luger, it will iterate, it will know about all of these ring buffers because they will get registered somehow, and it will consume logs from each one of them, probably in turn. And then it will do blocking operations like write to file or write to std out. This might be a little bit more wasteful because now you have a ring buffer per thread, but this will be faster for the thread itself. This means that our hot path input handling thread doesn't need to block anymore. It doesn't need to spin. It doesn't need to synchronize. It will just write into its own ring buffer. And I think I would even go as far as to say that it shouldn't bother checking if the logger like depleted the ring buffer in the first place, you know? It just writes as fast as it can, and if the logger is not fast enough to deplete the logs, well, I guess we're just losing the logs. How about that? What do you think about it? Sounds reliable to you? And logger thread is just what? What it's gonna be? Is it gonna be just an infinite loop that pegs this arrays, or what? Yeah, that's the question. How are we notifying? Because just spinning the logger thread is kind of stupid, not gonna lie. So what can we do about it? We can have our log utility, right? So because this is gonna call some like log, it will just call log, and we will handle stuff transparently. But this log utility can inside run like timer set. Yes, exactly. Event fd, the thing, you know, like from the timer, and then this shit will poll and wake up. So maybe this. I don't know if I want to use Futex. How would I use Futex even? Because Futex is Linux specific, like lock, semaphore, or whatever it is. Where would I, or does it have some kind of a, does it have like multiple meanings? Let's do Futex. It provides a method for waiting until a certain condition becomes true, yeah? It is typically used as a blocking construct. Ah. Yeah, so I triggered the Futex on every insert. Shared memory synchronization. When using Futex, the majority performed in user space. A user space program employs the Futex system call only when it is likely that the program has to block for a longer time until the condition becomes true. And then, so I use Futex on the logger thread to block until, you know, one of the buffers have something new for me to read. And then I use another Futex call to wake up the first one. Is there an example here? So yeah, there's like Futex wake. Yeah, oh, there's an example. Demonstrate the use of Futexes in a program where parent and child use a pair of Futexes located inside a shared anonymous mapping. to synchronize access to a shared resource, the terminal. The two processes each write enumloops messages to the terminal and employ synchronization protocol that ensures that they alternate the writing message, and then broken as formatting. Let's open it in. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, so the Emacs just can't read terminal escape sequence here. Common Emacs L. So what does it do? Includes a bunch of crap, creates two futexes and whatever this is. Futex just does a syscall. Time spec, your other value. So it acquires. So it still uses atomic compare and exchange. So you still have to use some kind of atomics. Okay. Yeah, so this is an atomic one, and this shit will block. So futex wait. And another one is futex wake up. Wait, no. Where's the wake up one? Is this in waits too? Where the fuck is it? I don't even see it. Ah, here, this futex wake. Yeah. Sorry. I'm just like, my brain tries to skim it and skim find it, and I just looking over it. So here we have like wake. Here we have wait. This one is like when you post, you just kind of wake it up. Right. I don't know. It's still kind of. So this will be the logger thread in my case, right? It's an infinite loop that just kind of waits on the futex. And this thread that will post the log which does atomic compare exchange. And it tries to be nice, right? So I don't think in my case, so if I don't care that my logger loses an event, I don't need to do atomic compare exchange. I can just straight up call wake up. Right. And like that's I just wake it up. I just store the thing and wake it up. And so main, you have you map some region of memory, get the buffer, create two mutexes. 0 isn't available, 1 is available. Child processes for is shit. So if 0 means we are in the child, and we just wait on futex and print the thing, and then post when we are like when we are done. And this we also wait on the futex. And when the futex gets released, we post our own. And in my case, the child will not wait. It will just print the thing and does do post. And parent, it will wait then it will release and consume the events, kind of like this. If we use Futex, or I guess you can do the same thing with POSIX logs. You can just do the same thing. And Jai, I apologize for yawning. And Jai has a module that has also some synchronization primitives that are probably implemented on top of like Futex or some shit, or maybe not. Maybe it's just some like condition. I don't know. Let's actually check it. Mutex. Yeah, thread example. There you go. So it is literally like a Mutex data structure. Oops. I think it's in primitives. Yeah, it's a struct. It has per OS critical section type, which I assume, yeah, so on Windows it's literally a critical section. And yeah, and on Linux it is a pthread mutex. And I like I like how you can see that Jai is you know, it's a Windows sort of centric programming language. So the terminology it uses by default is kind of Windowsy, because you know it obviously it comes from game development background, and even to this day, despite of how Microsoft really tries to ruin their OS, Windows kind of keeps to be main operating system for game development. So you see that the abstraction is called critical section, even though it's like Windows specific terminology. That's kind of funny. If debug, and this is like some debugging situation. So it's literally just a normal sort of normal synchronization primitive per operating system. And condition variable is, yeah, there you go. And when you use this in, let me check example, mutex order. You create a mutex, you init it with a name and a value. What is mutex waiter? Huh? Ah, it's also a mutex, okay. So you lock, and then you unlock. I don't know if I so it doesn't have like timers. Not timers, but conditions. So does it use condition variable anywhere in the code? So there are no examples of it, but I guess you can just sort of use it. So C variable wait. Let's check the Linux one. Huh? Is it not implemented? Oh, it's okay. It's both kind of here. Yeah. You know what? You might be joking about sleep, but maybe it's fine. You know, we just make ring buffers big enough so they can survive like few milliseconds before they get filled. So for now, I'm just kind of exploring my options. I'm not gonna probably implement it today, obviously, because I don't have much time left, but I can certainly at least start like thinking about it. Also, hey Connor, hello. Sorry, I kind of missed your message, but yeah, welcome to the stream. Right, so where's Linux version. Here it is. So we do pthread condition wait. It is, yes, it is. We're working on Linux version. We actually took some W's today. Made our program way like more safe and descriptive for new users. And now we're thinking about multi-threaded logging in a way that it doesn't log our our hot paths. So yeah, you wait on a pthread and then what's that? Seconds, milliseconds, clock get time, condition timed wait. Wait a second. I might not understand what it does. Wait. Oh, it is timed wait. Why would it be timed wait? Atomically unlocks mutex and waits on condition. But it also bounds the duration of the wait. Ah, so it waits on the condition, but it provides like a timeout. Okay, so yeah, I totally not like I misunderstood, let's be honest. I didn't know what it does. I've never worked with this API before. So wait on the condition, but it's just, if it doesn't unlock per time, we just wake up automatically and check if something is in queue. Yeah, the mutex is reacquired and timed wait returns the error e timeout. All right. And wait will wait indefinitely, right? Unlocks the mutex and waits for the condition to be signaled. Suspended and does not consume any CPU time wait. The condition variable is signaled. Yeah. The mutex must be locked by the calling thread on entrance to wait before returning to the calling thread. Wait reacquires the mutex. All right. Yeah. So the goal of this shit is for this part and this part, right? For these parts to not block like at all. So they just kind of shove the crap into array. They just shove the crap into array, shove the crap into array, shove the crap into array. Or like reading buffer, right? Let's be honest. And I see what I can do. So this is like a workaround for having like an eraser. I can call a control, press left click on the background, and then I can use it, you know, kind of as a eraser if I fucked up the alpha value. And then I can, you know, like kind of get back my main color and do this. A bit annoying, but this is what I can do meanwhile. But yeah. So we kind of just shove stuff into a ring buffer. Time for 2 megabytes ring buffers, yeah. I mean, I only have like 4 threads. So what is like? It's like 10 megabyte of RAM. Surely it's smaller than any Electron application will do, right? But I mean, come on, it's stupid. For logging, it's really stupid. Whoa. I apologize. So yeah, we can do this. We can certainly do this. So we can do wait. Yeah, we can do what you proposed with futex, but not with pure futexes. We will probably use like JIS abstractions, because I want to work on Windows without too much additional code, hopefully. So we will just like wait here on the condition, and condition will probably be like inside of the log, something will like set like data available to true, and then it would probably just signal. Is there some kind of, yeah, there's wake. Yeah, C variable wake. Right. Thread condition signal. So it's, yeah, wake up, bitch. And it wakes up and consumes. Or we can do event FD. We can also do event FD. Event FD object that can be used as event wait notify mechanism by user space applications and by the kernel to notify user space application of events. It would be cool to do it fully in user space without any fucking syscalls. That would be actually great. But it's probably not quite possible to do. What's a few megabytes between friends? Yeah. As its return value, event FD returns a new file descriptor. Following values, my blah blah blah. Exec set the close on exec flag on the new file descriptor. So this is like for one-offs. Nilsson Regi, we are just thinking about how to make our logging like multi-threaded without any sort of race conditions and without any blocking. So I have multiple threads in my program, and right, so T1, T2, T3, Tn. And basically, yeah, there will be one consumer that will do actual logging. And I want to make the log operation as lightweight as possible because some of these threads are like super hot. And I don't want to do any like blocking operations, especially for logging in these threads. So my idea was that I can create like a ring buffer per thread, and my threads will just push crap into ring buffer, and the logger will consume from these buffers and do the actual log. It can block, it can do whatever it wants to, like launch nukes. Don't care, as long as threads itself don't block anything. And now I'm just looking on Linux specific APIs on how to properly block the consumer and properly notify the consumer that there's something new without spending too much time, right? So do something that this doesn't have to spin and peg the like CPU core, and something that is lightweight enough so log itself doesn't block the thread. So we read about Futex and POSIX APIs for that, which seems to be reasonable, assuming that, you know, like POSIX wake doesn't take a lot of time. And now I'm just reading about event FDs, which I guess sort of achieve the same goal, but maybe it's more lightweight than, you know, like full-blown like pthreads machinery. So you see, it kind of provides semaphore-like semantics for reads from the new file descriptor. See below. This is non-blog on the open file descriptor referred to by the new file descriptor. Using this flag saves extra calls to fcntl to achieve the same result. Alright, we have a file descriptor. Each successful read returns 8-byte integer. A read fails with a inval if the size of the supplied buffer is less than 8 bytes. The value is host byte or I don't care, bro. What values means? The semantic depends on whether the eventFD counter currently has a non-zero value and whether the semaphore flag was specified. So if semaphore flag was not specified and the eventFD counter has a non-zero value, then a read returns 8 bytes containing that value, and the counter's value is set to 0. If semaphore was specified by the eventFD, counter has non-zero value, then read returns 8 bytes containing the value 1. And the counter's value is decremented by 1. Ah. Yes, it is relevant for Windows, because as far as I know, Windows doesn't have any like eventFD crap. I know Windows have like fibers, which lets you do stuff asynchronously, but they are like single threaded inherently. So I probably will have to use critical sections on Windows. And Jai conveniently, like, if you look at it, yeah, Jai conveniently have an abstraction for, where is it? Fuck. Yeah, Jai has conveniently like abstraction for a critical section. So I maybe won't use primitives directly, but I might rip apart like critical section API if Windows doesn't have anything like lightweight. So yeah. At least I won't have to research as much. Yeah, so it wait for single, yeah, there you go. This is the one. Yeah, it's like used in a bunch of places. But yeah, thank you. And so semaphore is for kind of like quote unquote ref counting, right? A write call adds an 8-byte integer value. Oh yeah. Maximum value that might be stored is the largest unsigned 64-bit. If the addition would cause the counter's value to exceed, then write either blocks until read is performed. Oh, so if we want, we can actually block new logs until we, like unclog the logger. I actually start liking eventFD for this. Because of this. I didn't want to block it, but for example, I might still do it, you know, unclog the logger, yeah. Because so in my program, I have this thing, debug more logs. So, you know, the idea is if the user encounters some error with the program, they might click this thing and I will start logging like debug events, and I might enforce timer FD to block and, you know, to be sure it doesn't skip any log lines. And it seems like eventFD provides me exactly the API I need for it. At least like on Linux. Let's be honest. Right. Well, for it to work, I need to specify the value of a counter, something like this minus the amount of items I can store per ring buffer, right? So so it properly overflows and blocks. So there's a little bit of kind of back and forth with it, but it is possible. And I just don't make it non-blocking. Yeah, and then I can poll on it. So I think, I think for starters, I will do event FDs. I think this looks kind of attractive. And we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it today though. I'll probably start working on it tomorrow. And I will still kind of keep in mind the multiple producer single consumer, even though I don't exactly like it. Yeah, the lugger, the consumer will have to create event FD. It will have to make it global. Right, and then these guys will have to write into event FD. I might have like an issue with like incrementing value on event FD. Although, excuse me, maybe it's actually not an issue. Maybe if I just write the same value, it will always wake up. So my idea is that no matter which thread wakes me up, it's gonna just iterate over everything and see what it processed and what not. So on ring buffer, there should be some kind of like indicator of which values got processed. So we might encounter some weird artifacts with me being like sloppy about, not being diligent of what I processed or not. But at least on, yeah, a single FD for all of them. Yeah, that's the idea. I don't want to have FD like per buffer. We can do this, we can certainly do it. But the idea is to have one and just iterate over all of them. Because we don't actually care for how much this blocks. Yeah, one ring to rule them all. Yeah, exactly. Right. And if we don't like how the implementation looks, we might try the multiple producers thing with, like atomic stores from the thread, even though I don't like it. We might actually modify it, right? We might store unconditionally without any atomic weights, and then just offload all of the suffering to the login thread. So it will like care if something is bad. And these guys, I'll just show into the like consumer. Oh, you know what we can do? I just realized. We can have a single multi-ring buffer. So we can have a single ring buffer with like parts of it divided between threads. And then each thread will wrap within its own section. And then Logger can just iterate over everything here. That's like a big brain idea. So it's like, hey dog, I've heard you like ring buffers, so we added a ring buffer in your link buffer so you can wrap around while you're wrapping around. We can do that. And in the blocking, wake them, yeah. Yes, exactly. I just realized that, how it looks like? It looks like a multi-cursor implementation in a gap buffered text editor, right? When you have like a gap per cursor. So kind of like this. Yeah. And if we're even like bold enough, we might. I don't know. It's probably that's actually never mind. I just thought of something and it was completely bad idea. So yeah, that's gonna be planned for the next, I guess, stream, maybe potentially two, to figure out what we like most for the logging. And I might do some work off stream to I might do some work off stream to maybe add some UI when I can display these errors about, you know, not being able to read input devices. Because now I made it so that even if we completely fail, we at least most likely to show you the window, so you don't need to go to like a log file to see what's going wrong. And maybe there's time to add some sort of thing like orange warning here when you like click, like you do here, you have like sub window opened, and in this sub window you can maybe like see error like, oh, you have to add us as input group, and maybe even like add a button to do it. You know, if you're running under sudo, we'll just let you do this. Just click the button and we will do the thing. I don't know, maybe not as far, maybe not push it as far. Oh yeah, I did process viewer like a long time ago. With one like caveat that it only logs X11 windows here. Because Wayland history with seeing which windows are open is kind of, you know, it's an unsolved problem in computer science. But on Windows it works for all processes. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's see if I have something uncommitted. I have one unmerged. Oh right, and we embedded fonts into an executable. That was also pretty cool. Yeah, so we are pogging, and I will log off slightly earlier today because I have a long day tomorrow and I want to catch a little bit more sleep. Let's see if maybe I can raid someone. Ian is working still. Ian is another like Jai programmer who does a lot of also cool like UI stuff.
Okay, next time we spend them.
Yeah, although I guess today he does some Unity thing, some like Unity modding. So maybe find someone else. Let me check software and game development category real quick. Yeah, thanks Aether. Have a good night as well. And do we have anyone? Oh shit, Kuju is streaming. Yeah, we'll raid Kuju, who is recently actually funded, was able to pull off a successful Kickstarter campaign. So let's raid him. If any like people on YouTube want to join the raid, feel free to hop on Twitch. If you have here, and we will be raiding Kujo. And it seems like he's just started too, right? Oh, no, he's actually streaming for 4 hours. Well, but yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I'll hopefully see you tomorrow when we will like do the logging, or maybe I will get too excited and start it off stream. You never know with me. I'm unpredictable, you know, hard to find, easy to lose, all that stuff. Anyway, yeah, thanks everyone. Have a good rest of your days, and yeah, bye bye. I'm fucking off now.